am Nkechi Okoro Carroll. I am the executive producer and showrunner of All American. When I get a DM from a teacher in like Alabama who's like, I've never seen my kids so engaged in a subject matter, like all they talk about is All American, so we've added it to our curriculum, that to me is success. When I have a mom email me and be like, my son and I have never discussed his father's death in 5 years, and watching All American together helped us bridge that gap. And that, to me, is success. My goal in life, both for me personally and for my production company and for the content we produce, is I just want to leave the world a little bit of a better place than how I found it. Awards and everything else is lovely and we're grateful for them, but it's the difference we're able to make in people's lives. It's a community that has beautifully welcomed us. We shoot in South LA. They've been so amazing to us that we build it into our budget time where we're like, okay, let's plan for X amount of hours today because Daniel Ezra, who plays Spencer, is going to want to throw a football with the kids and we're going to lose him for a half hour. Kareem Grimes, who plays Preach on the show, is going to sit down and talk to every kid at that recreation center. So let's build 45 minutes into the schedule for that. And we employ people from South LA as well. And I think half our crew lives down there at this point. And so it's just really important to us, both in the storylines of the show and in the production of the show, that we legitimately represent and incorporate the community. I call my mom the OG Superwoman. I'm like, she's the original one. She raised 4 kids by herself. And my mom has 9 sisters. It's just that awesomeness from these strong women. I never believed there was anything that I couldn't do. There was a lot of faith and a lot of, I have no idea what I'm doing when I first entered this industry, but it never occurred to me not to enter it just because of the fear. I had a gazillion moments of doubt. When I left, as my mom liked to point out, the most secure job on the planet, working for the central bank, to probably the least secure job on the planet of, I'm an aspiring writer, I want to go to Hollywood. I wanted to at least fail knowing I tried. And I still have doubts now. Before I hit send on any script I'm sending to the studio, even as the showrunner, I always take a minute and I have to take a deep breath and I'm like, this is gonna be the one where they figure out I don't know what I'm doing, but it's okay, we gotta hit send anyway. And I didn't do the traditional route. I didn't come up through the assistant pool. I didn't go to school for screenwriting. Like I was sort of kind of trying to kick down the door on my own. And I think sort of my experience at the Fed really gave me the confidence to do that. And so I'm excited to put that on the screen and to break the myth of what you need to look like or act like in order to be able to have a job like that. For girls who love STEM, there's absolutely a place for you there. And so I hope to dispel some of those myths that are out there about economists and female economists in the Federal Reserve. I'm so proud of Black Women Who Brunch, I really am. It's something that we started. It was myself, Lena Waithe, and Erica Johnson, and Lena and Erica are both amazing exec producers now and doing amazing things in the industry, and we were all baby writers. And people would often refer to us as like, yeah, but you guys are the unicorns. We can't find people who are like you. And we really felt strongly that we weren't unicorns. But whenever they would ask me for names, I couldn't provide any, and that really bothered me. And I'm like, I should know. If someone calls me and says, I need a producer level writer who's a Black female for X, Y, and Z, I should be able to roll 5, 6 names off my tongue. And if they don't exist, we need to make sure they exist so that we can start to create those jobs. And so we decided to form Black Women Who Brunch. So the first meeting in my living room 6 years ago was 12 of us. And now our group is 172 women, everything from staff writers to executive producers. I think people are underestimating the value that women bring to these positions. By the time you realize like, oh no, I have no women in my writer's room, or oh no, I have no, members of color on my crew. Well, now you're at the, you're about to start shooting in a week, everything's crazy, it's kind of too late to do anything about it then. So I always push people to make it a priority, make it one of the first things you look at when you're starting your show, and then also create an environment that is welcoming to females especially. We hear a lot things like, oh, well, she's a mom, and? Just because she's a mom doesn't mean she isn't a kick butt DP. Like, okay, so maybe you need to make some accommodations for the fact that she's a new mom and she's just coming off maternity leave. So make sure you have a trailer where she can go pump. Make sure you have certain things in place so that she could be a working mom who has a newborn at home. But it's all doable. And honestly, and it's not accommodations where it's like, oh, we're making allowances and she's gonna perform. They actually perform better. I always say being a working mom is actually what makes me a better mom. And I love that my sons get to see that I love my job and I'm passionate about it and I work hard at it. but I work equally as hard as making sure I make it to my son's baseball game on a Saturday morning, even if I've been shooting till 4 a.m. When we were thinking about who would be the new Beverly coach, I just read an article about this amazing female coach in Connecticut who was just kicking butt, and I was like, wait, she can't be the only one. And then I started doing research and realized that there were pockets of schools that had started to, but they were still always the first one. And I want them to stop being firsts. I want it to be normalized as just, they're up for the job like anyone else. Like, our show is about, aspirational storylines. Our show is about showing people that they can achieve their dreams. And where it's like, oh my gosh, it's a female coach. It's like, no, it's a female coach. And she looks at football a certain way, and there's a different nurturing nature. She's tough, but there's a different nurturing nature to the way she approaches the players that I think it's the fact that she's a female that gives her that superpower. So we just wanted to lean into all of that, and hopefully if we even change one person's mind at how they look at female athletes or female coaches or incorporating them into other sports, then we've done our job. Quit my job at the Fed and pursued writing. That was absolutely on the vision board. Having my own production company, which has officially come to fruition, that was on the vision board as well. It's so funny because I've never looked back to think how many of them have come to pass, but that's pretty cool. I'm like, you don't want me doing this dance, but we got it, okay.
Are there any words of wisdom you'd like to share with me or any other prospective filmmaker?
Just do it.